Hi everyone and welcome back to Scarecraft, where we bring creepy horrors to life with builds that anyone can try. Today, we're diving into a classic Halloween favourite, the haunted forest tree. Evil trees and forest guardians have been part of spooky storytelling forever, from the creepy trees in Snow White to the towering Ents in The Lord of the Rings. But these ideas go way deeper than movies. They're rooted in old folklore, Celtic, Norse, and even ancient Greek legends. And so, thinking of forest spirits and tree guardians, I decided to make this dryad themed mask. This build is a little different. It's a two-part mask, so the mouth can be moved, and we're giving it glowing red eyes so it's extra creepy in the dark. And because the mask is in two parts, the top half can be worn on its own as a masquerade piece for a Halloween party. So, if you want to make something similar, prepare to raid your craft cupboard. Here's a list of some of the things you might need. I started with a regular card mask as the base and cut away the lower mouth section. I kept the jaw part as well, as we'll be using that later. I then made a simple EVA foam strap to go around the mask and hold it to the head. Now you can eyeball this, you don't really need to measure it. I then took a second strip of EVA foam from the top of the mask to connect that back to the back strap and make a rough kind of helmet. I widened the eye holes and added mesh behind them. For the glowing red eyes, I'm going to use these LEDs, battery powered. And I used hot glue just to glue them in a rough circle around each eye. To keep the LEDs slightly hidden, I added a couple of EVA foam ridges beside them. I also added strips of tinfoil facing the LEDs to bounce some of that light back into the eye sockets. Now, I have no idea why I thought this would be a good idea, but I glued the power pack to the head. I thought it would be invisible in amongst the branches I was planning to make. So, really bad idea, and as you will see, it had to be moved later on. Next, I layered two pieces of EVA foam over the top of the face, each with the eye holes cut out. These overhang the LEDs just enough to hide them. The lower part of this EVA foam will become the upper jaw, so I added some teeth that will later be covered when we add the foam clay skin. And now for the lower jaw. I took the lower jaw section that I cut off earlier and built it up with EVA foam. Again, just making it up as I went along, adding in some bulky chunks and with hot glue until it looked right, so that when my mouth is closed, the upper and lower jaws more or less meet. Now, I'm using a stretchy lycra balaclava to hide my face when the jaw opens. So this is a two-part mask, so I added elastic so the jaw stays snug against the top of my head. If you don't have a balaclava, no worries, just use elastic like I did, and maybe add a black bandana to hide your lower face. To finish off the lower jaw, I added a thin skin of foam clay over the whole piece and drew texture on it with a pin to make a wood grain effect before painting the whole thing black. For the branches, I wanted loads of them bursting out of the mask to really sell the dryad look. I used insulation tubing, which is basically the same material as pool noodles, and cut it into thin tapered strands. I wanted bigger branches at the front of the mask to create a nice frame for the face, so glued smaller branches to bigger pieces like so. And once I had a few of these done, I then moved on to some of the thinner branches that would go at the back of the head. With a bit of gentle heat from the heat gun, I twisted and shaped them into branch-like forms. Now, to get a nice woody texture on the branches, I tried two methods. First, my usual PVA glue and tissue paper technique, layering on and using a pin to add texture. Now, with this method, it does take several layers and does take a little while to dry. I also tested a thin skin of foam clay, again using a pin to draw in the lines. This method is a little fiddly, but once you get the hang of it, it's quite easy to do. Here they are side by side. The tissue method looks more realistic, but the foam clay is much faster to do. Since I had loads of these to make, I went with the foam clay for the rest. And once all the branches were skinned, I paint them all separately. I base coated them in a black acrylic, brushed a medium brown over the raised areas, and finished with a light caramel dry brush to pick out the highest points. And if you follow that colour scheme, working light with each stage, you should end up with something looking a bit like this. Then it was time to assemble everything onto the mask. I arranged the branches so they framed the face nicely, but still looked wild and natural. Smaller twig pieces went all around the back to give it that chaotic, overgrown look. After the main branches were on, I sculpted some facial features out of foam clay, adding texture with a pin. I base coated everything in black acrylic paint as I went along. I added some branches and extra foam clay details to build up depth, hide the straps, and give the mask a really organic feel. And then I hit another snag at this point. So in my rush to build this piece, I kind of messed up a bit on the lower jaw. The teeth don't really fit so well with the upper jaw. So I had to sort of smash it down and rework it a bit. I think I'm going to see how this looks when it's all finished up. If it still doesn't fit right, I might have to redo the lower jaw again. So just a little lesson here, really. Don't make the mistake I did. Just make sure your jaw fits well before you actually start painting it and putting it all together. Don't get carried away like I did. So we'll rework it and hopefully it'll work okay. So pleased with the overall look of the mask, but you can still see really clearly in the background there the power pack for the lights. So agonizingly, I'm going to have to move them, which means taking them all out and re-skimming the top of the head. So bit of a pain, but I think it's worth doing because I don't want the power pack to be part of the silhouette for the overall mask. Here we go. Right, so emergency re-skinning done. I've repatched it all along the back here, added some more material, so that's all nice and safely done. And turn it around, power pack is now on the back of the mask, where it should have been really, but there you go. Live and learn, hey ho. And after sorting out those snags, I finally painted the face to match the branches using a flat brush to pick out most of the areas in brown, leaving the black recesses as a shade, and then dry brushing the highest areas with cream or caramel colour to pick out the detail. I added a few last branches to help cover up the power pack at the back, and then it was time to try it on. So to put this mask on took 3 stages. First of all, the face covering or the balaclava, then the lower jaw, ensuring it fits snugly onto the chin, and finally the top piece to complete the mask. I was really pleased with how this turned out. The moving jaw adds so much character, and the glowing red eyes look incredible at night. Honestly, I'm now wondering if I need to make a full costume to go with it, so let me know what you think. I also think if you are going to a Halloween dance or party, you could just make the top section of the mask and have it as a sort of masquerade piece. Maybe just spray paint the whole thing black. It would look really striking and be ideal for a Halloween ball. In terms of the wearability of the piece, it looks like it should weigh a ton, but it is really quite light. Now, I hope you enjoyed this build and that it inspires your own spooky projects. And if you liked the video, please do consider liking, commenting and subscribing. And check out the other builds on the channel. There's something creepy for everyone. Until next time.